welcome to another episode of Afro Scientific Spirituality. My name is Efe West, reaching you live and direct from the heart of Africa. If this is your first time on the channel, you're highly welcome. This is the place where we separate the facts from the fiction, the science from the superstition, and the concept from the misconceptions about African spirituality. Today, I would like to talk about the topic of why the dead need water. Yes, we all know that dead people, they seem to like water a lot. We can see this across many cultures, especially in African spirituality. We have this very popular spiritual practice, which they call libations. That is the process of giving water or liquids to the dead and calling out their name. So why is this practice necessary? What is the scientific principle behind this practice? Why do people have to do this very thing? Is it really necessary, or is it a form of insanity, or just a mere tradition? Why do dead people need water? Today, I want us to flesh out this issue. It's a very important issue, and we in African spirituality do this every day. Many people do it. They don't know why they do it. They saw their parents doing it, and they continue doing it. Across Africa, it is very popular. Everybody does it. Okay? So, according to my observation about this very phenomenon or practice, it is a very necessary practice. The fact of the matter is that we have to understand the difference between the living and the dead for us to appreciate the value of this practice. According to modern day science, they say that the whole world is made of 70% water. 70% of this world is water. And the world cannot live or sustain itself without water. So this is quite naturally a water world. We can say that hydrogen world, hydrocarbon. Modern science also said that 70% of the human body is made of water as well, and it is true. We are basically moving water. We are embodiments of water in solid forms. So we cannot live without water. Water is part of our makeup. We drink it every day. We use it for almost everything. And the whole planet is also mostly made of water. Now, when people die, when humans die, what happened? They lost this water element. The spirits or the soul or the divine spark is not composed of water. Okay, it's only the physical body that is composed of these water elements and water particles. So that divine spark that came from wherever it came from, some people say that it's from God of the world, the most supreme being, the creator of the universe. That's element that is responsible for our animation, our movements. That soul spark is not composed of water. It came from somewhere that is like a body of light from a celestial realm. So the meeting of this very divine spark and the physical elements from earth is what creates we humans. So we are made of physical aspects and spiritual aspects. So when people die, the physical aspects of them will go back to the earth. They will naturally decompose. They will turn into manure, and sometimes they will be consumed by land animals. Most times the heads will consume them. They will become manure for plants to grow. It's all part of the great cycle of life. The physical matter will go back to the physical earth and the spirit will go back to wherever it came from. So when people die, this is what happens. So the spiritual aspect of them will go back to the source or wherever they are going to. So what we do in African spirituality and other spiritual practices is that when you call the names of these late people, you try to remember them, you are actually trying to bring them back from that spiritual place into this physical universe. By calling their names, it's like you are trying to drag them back, you are trying to remember them, you are trying to invoke them, so to say. By imagining them, you are kind of willing them to come back, wishing them to come back to this earth. Then when you give water to them, it's like you are giving them that physical aspect, that earthly element that they have been missing, that they don't have anymore. So you are trying to bring them back to life in a way. Okay? And this is very necessary because the dead, they are dead because they are no more living. They don't have the physical attribute anymore. They don't have water in their system. What they have now transformed to is what we call photon particles, light particles, very dense light particles, you can say gaseous. So they don't have water in their system anymore because they are not living, okay? But they are still existing. They exist in the plasma plane, in the gaseous plane, in what you will call the astral plane, sometimes in the mental plane, other planes of existence that are much more lighter than the earth plane, okay? So that is where they are. So for them to be able to act on this physical earth plane, they need some physical elements for them to be able to move around, and through which whereby they can impose their will or their wishes or their intentions on this physical earth. So the water that you're giving to them is what they are going to use to be moving around this physical plane, to be able to be doing their work or be able to be making their impact or effects on the physical plane, okay? So when you're giving water to the dead, you're calling their name, you are giving water to them, you are kind of empowering them. You are sort of kind of resurrecting them back into this physical world, okay? And it's not only the water that is doing the work. When you pronounce their name, by calling the names of these entities or spirits, you are actually pushing a little bit of your life force into them. You are giving that name power, you are pushing your life force into the name to make it something real, okay? In spirituality, you can see this in Tai Chi or in ancient Hindu spirituality. There's this thing they call prana, life force, air. When you breathe in air to sustain yourself, when you're making pronouncements or doing some sort of meditation, you're trying to push your will into the physical universe. This air that we are breathing is a life force energy on its own that actually sustains us. Without the oxygen, without the prana, we cannot live, we will die. Okay? The dead people too, when they cross over, they don't have access to this prana anymore because they are not living. They don't need it. Okay, only living things that need to breathe in the oxygen, they don't breathe anymore. So part of the things that we do when you call these names of these dead people or the deities, you are giving them part of your prana, part of your life force. Okay, so this life force is what they will still also be using to act on the physical plane. Okay, it is so simple and also so powerful because there is power in the breath, and there is power in the tongue, there is power in the voice. So when you call the name of your late ancestors, your late relative, or a deity, by you calling that name, you are actually kind of channeling them to give them life, to bring them forth from wherever they are into this physical world. Okay? This is so serious that in some spiritual tradition, like the Rosicrucians, they don't blow off a candle. Yes, these people, this is what they believe. If you're a member of Rosicrucian, you will know that the first thing they will teach you is that you don't blow off a candle when you want to off them, because they believe that the candle flame is a living entity, it's a life force of its own. Okay, it has a life, and your breath has its own life. So it is forbidden for them to use one life force to snuff out another life force. So you don't blow off candles if you are a executioner. What they do, they advise you is that you use your hands to flip it off, or they have what they call candle snuffers that they use to off their candles. They never use air, they never blow off their candles. It is forbidden in the Rosicrucian order. This is how serious they take the practice of using their life force in their mouth for positive things only, not for destroying other life force. So they don't blow off candles in Rosicrucian. You can ask any of them this, they know this tradition and they all practice it. Okay? So the life force of the breath is very, very important. When you call names of deities or people, you are actually giving them life. You are pushing an aspect, certain portion of your life force, you are giving it to them so that they can live again. In ancient time, in ancient Egypt, they believe that when you remember the dead all the time, you're making them live again. So what they normally do is that if they don't like somebody, they want to forget about you, they wipe out your name from every material, from every written material, so that people don't remember you and people don't speak your name. They totally forget about you. They believe that by not speaking the person's name, by blotting out your name, you're going to die when nobody remembers you, when nobody calls your name anymore. You will die a natural death. So that is what they do most times. There are some kings that maybe they fall out of favor with people, or they fall out of favor with other kings. This person will order that everywhere the name of this king is written should be blotted out, should be replaced, or should be wiped out from existence. They did that a lot in ancient Egypt. So people also do that a lot now. When you hate somebody so much, you don't speak their name, you try to delete them from existence, wipe them out from the internet, or wipe them from any place, so people will not know them, people will forget about them, and it's like they never existed. So that is one thing. So when we try to speak names of people that have passed on, we are actually making them live again. And by speaking their names, it's like we're calling them back into this physical form. We are trying to resurrect them and to recreate them. And when we do these kind of things, we normally do this with people that we aim to emulate, people that have done great things in history, people that we have high respect for. By you calling their names, you like trying to bring into life all the principles that these people actually stood for. And you try to make sure that the spirit of these people, that very things that they stood for, prevail in this physical world. For instance, when people call the name of Martin Luther King or Malcolm X and give libation to them, you're actually trying to reestablish or promote or expand the principles of these people upon the physical world. By calling their names, pouring libation to them, you are actually making their spirit to be very, very relevant on this physical plane. You're actually empowering that spirit. You are making that spirit to become an egregor that can be able to influence and direct the future of people to a greater extent, to the kind of place that you want them to go. You can actually use them to propel a people. into spiritual development, or you can actually use this kind of thing to bring down the people into spiritual bondage. The same way the Christians are using Jesus Christ to bring people into spiritual bondage, and they have used it to bring so many people into spiritual poverty and darkness. Same thing they did with Islam. Same way you can also use good people to bring people into spiritual consciousness, high spiritual consciousness as well. That is why it's important that we Africans, we should be doing libations to our late ancestors and our ancient heroes that really stood for us. We should be doing this to them, to be calling their names, empowering them, expanding their philosophies and promoting them. People like Michael Jackson, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, John Henry Clark. Good people, good positive people that have really made impact on this world, that people that we want their values and their standards to prevail. Those are the people we need to be calling their names in the libation, empowering them and giving them more power to be able to do things and push their philosophy in the astral plane, in the spirit plane, to push them into this physical world, for more people to emulate them and be like them, so that we can bring peace to this world and we can make this world a better place. Okay, that is the essence of the libation. That is why it is very, very important. It's a very simple practice, but it's a very powerful practice as well. It's like, think of it like you plant a seed and you are now watering that seed. As the more you water the seed, the more the seed will grow and the seed will germinate, start sprouting. One day you may not need to water that seed anymore. It will take a life of its own and start growing and become a very big tree that will be almost impossible to cut down. This is how this libation thing works. So when you start giving your ancestors water, you give them water, you're actually nurturing that seed, you're giving them enough life. When you have given them enough sustenance with enough life energy, they now take a life of their own and they start living and walking in the spirit realm. It's like you have created an egregor, or you have resurrected an egregor back, a thought form, what we call thought form in spirituality, when you use your mind to create spirits and they become real things. We have so many thought forms that are now influencing the life of people. So many imaginary characters, Marvel, DC, comic heroes. All these are thought forms that are now very real things that people, so many influencing the life of so many people around the world. You can create thought forms, or you can resurrect powerful thought forms. When we go back to Kemet, to ancient Egypt, we start calling on Eru, calling on Asa, Aset, Anubis. These are the spirits of the entities of thought forms or egregors of our past ancestors that have been guiding them for thousands of years. We're now resurrecting them back in this modern world to bring them back to also guide us and protect us and give us the wisdom of the ancient ones to live our life and find our place in this new world that we are living, in this present dispensation. So that is what you're doing when you're giving libations to these ancient deities. You are bringing them back into your life. And the more you call them, the more you give them this libation, the more they surround you. That is what people don't know. When you call names of dead people, if you don't like a spirit, you don't want the spirit to come close, you don't call their names. Okay? You have to be careful of this. If you don't want a spirit to come into your life, do not call their names. When you begin to call names of these ancient ones, they will always be around you. Okay? They will be around you all the time, and they will need work to do. So you better be prepared when you want to be calling names of deities, because when they come and they find out that you are not putting your shit together, they might decide to help you out, to direct you in the path that they want you to go, or they might decide to do their own thing. So you be very careful when you start calling names of deities. Know the kind of deities you should be calling, the kind of deities you want to be hanging around, or you want them to be hanging around you. Those are the kind of deities you should be calling their names all the time and giving libation to them. So libation is a very powerful thing, powerful spiritual practice for protection, for prosperity, for all kinds of things. When you give a libation to these entities, giving them water, especially alcohol. Alcohol is very, very important. I will say it's much better than water because alcohol have this kind of component inside that is easily dissipates into the atmosphere. So when you pour alcohol, whiskey, like 40-45% alcohol to the deities, they get it very, very fast. And they love it because it sort of empowers them. It also makes them high in a way. So they really love this stuff. So alcohol is what we normally use. Whiskey, very strong whiskey, spirits. You call them, you give them the alcohol. Very, very good. More preferable than water. But if you don't have water, alcohol, we do just fine. This is what we call them. We call their names, we give them, then we talk to them. You keep doing this. By the time you do this for so long, you will now empower them that they can be able to come into this dream anytime they like, because they now have a lot of physical sustenance with them, enough energy. You have given them enough of your life energy for them to actually be able to make impact. Just imagine thousands of people doing the same thing to the deities. This is how gods are created. We are the ones that create the gods by giving them part of our energy, part of our life force for them to be able to act in this physical world. Okay? This is how it is done. So you have to practice this. It is very, very important. If you have loved ones, parents, brothers and sisters that have passed away, children, you can sustain their spirits. Good ones, so not the bad people, those useless people that came to waste their life. Do not give those people libation. Let them dry out and die, and wither and die. Good people are the people we remember, not evil people that give us a lot of problems during their lifetime. We let those ones wither and die. We don't want to remember them. Libations are very, very important. It doesn't matter the quantity of water. Just one drop, one tiny drop of water can be able to give the spirit enough power to act on this physical plane. You can see this in the Bible. There's a clear example of this. If you used to be a Christian, there's this story of Lazarus and one rich man. According to the Abraham's bosom. According to the story, the rich man was living a lavish, extravagant lifestyle, was always eating, enjoying himself. He never cared about the poor. Then there's this poor man that is always hanging at the gates, eating these crumbs from the rich man's table, always suffering. The rich man never gave him the time of day, never even look at him. This man suffered and died. Then the rich man also died when his time came. Then both of them got to the spirit world. So when the rich man died, he went to the place they called Shui or Hell. He was suffering. The place was very hot, was very dry. There was no single nourishment. Then from there, he looked up and he saw Lazarus was hanging around in Abraham's bosom, wearing white robe. He was shocked. This Lazarus, this poor man. He called out to Lazarus, asked him, "What are you doing there?" Lazarus said, "Well, when I died, I saw myself here. I don't know why, but I think I like this place. These people are taking care of me." Then he looked at the rich man and said, "The rich man said, I died and I found myself here as well, and this place is very terrible. I don't like this place, but I just cannot leave this place." Then the rich man now asked Lazarus for a favor, but told him that he's suffering seriously, that if Lazarus could just dip one of his finger and give him a drop of water, that he will be fine, that is going to quench his thirst, and that is going to go a long way to help him. Just one drop of water. That is what this big man, this rich man was begging for, not even a cup. So Lazarus told him that even if I was able to do that, it will not get to you because there's a kind of demarcation blocking us. Something is separating us. You cannot be able to get this water from me. So the rich man was left without nothing but to continue suffering. So this is a story from the Bible, very popular story, but there's a kind of esoteric truth inside this story about the importance of water to the dead. If you will ask me to analyze this story, I will say that in the rich man's case, he was a man that was totally vain. This is a man that cared nothing about spirituality. During his lifetime, he was a totally vain person, totally materialistic person. He never cared, he never believed even in the existence of the spirits. This was the kind of person the rich man was. So when he died, there was nobody to remember him. Nobody to remember him. Nobody to give him libation. Nobody to care for him. He was that kind of person. There are many people like that immediately they die, they totally forget about them. This is the way modern people operate. In many families in Nigeria now, in Africa, they believe that fully believe in the Bible. They don't believe in reincarnation and all this stuff we talk on this channel. They believe that once you die, you go to judgment, and either you go to hell or heaven, and they have nothing to do with you. They don't give libation to their dead. They don't remember their dead. This is the way they believe. So when you die, most times in Africa, now what is happening that your children and wives will come, they will share your property, they will bury you, and then they will forget about you. This is what happens. So many of these people that are dying, nobody going to give them libation. Many of them are going to be forgotten. So many Christians, they don't give libation. They think that libation is a demonic thing. When you remember your dead, they think that is a demonic practice. Even Christians will tell you to forget about the dead. This is a very, very big mistake that so many Africans are making, and they are going to pay for it in debts. Okay? So many families, in my family right now, I'm the only person that is not a Christian. I believe I'm the only one that is giving libation to the few good people in the family tree. I'm the only person. That's why most of the time the spirits are always around me. My house is like a Airbnb for spirits. I used to say that it's a place whereby spirits come to chill out. Good spirits, they are welcome. Bad spirits, they are not welcome here. So a lot of spirits come to me. They pass through and they get nourishment. I give them libations, give them food. If you're a good spirit, you're welcome. The bad ones, you will never be welcome. My guides will not allow you to come to my house. So a lot of Christians, they are going to pay for this mistake when they die, because nobody will remember them. Nobody will give them libation. They are going to wither and they are going to die their natural deaths in spirit and in truth. So that story is a very good story to tell you the importance of remembering the dead, the importance of just one drop of water. That little drop you see people turn from the glass, you call the name of the deity or the name of the person, is very, very important, because it's a gift to them. When you're giving something to somebody, when you give offerings, they always take it. In the spirit world, nothing is wasted. That's why you see people give a lot of offerings to deities. That is how these deities live. They live off the spiritual essence of these offerings that we give to them. Okay? So you as a African spiritualist, you must be doing this. Get in touch with your ancestral deities, be giving the libations to them. Your few good people in your family, you'll be giving those ones, remembering them. What you are doing, that you are making them live again. And when you give them enough power, they will start protecting you. The dead see things that you cannot see. They know things that you cannot know. When you're planning something, it's going to be something that will be detrimental to you. They already know. They are going to move you from the way. So when you're close to the spirit world, they will be protecting you. All these things that are happening, all these evil things that are happening to people, it don't happen to people like us. When you hear stories of kidnapping, bandits, and all sorts of nonsense happening in the world, it don't happen to people like us. It happens to those people that are spiritually blind, deaf, and dumb. Those are the people that will be dying. Those are the people that will be sacrificing themselves because they are stupid or because they refuse to listen to the voice of reason. But if you are walking with the spirits, you're always doing this libation, you're always in line with them, these kind of evil things will never come your way. You will be protected. Anytime they are taking lives or this kind of mass killings are happening, problems, it will not affect you. There are a lot of people, how will I call them, cannon folders in the world. A lot of them right now. People that are being bred for slaughter, that they are being human are being bred like chickens on a farm for slaughter. Those are the ones that the spirit will push forward for them to be sacrificed, for them to be taken. Those are the first people that will be dying in this kind of case. It's not you. It should not be you. It does not have to be you, and it will not be you. Okay. So you that are on this spiritual path, watching my channel, watching channels like this, trying to get knowledge, you are empowering yourself, you are removing yourself from those kind of people, you are separating yourself from those kind of issues, okay? By taking advantage of this spiritual knowledge, doing your libation, calling your ancestors, asking them for help, for protection, giving them food, giving them water, you are actually calling them back into your life, you are calling your crew, your spiritual crew to surround you and be guiding you. And once you have activated them, you will be seeing things that will be happening in your life. Things will be easier for you, and you are going to navigate the waters of life better. So the dead, they need water, you need to give them so that they can work for you in this physical world. It's very important. You can do the libation if you have time on a daily basis, or once a week is fine. You get to a point where you do it that you don't need to be doing it often, because you have given them enough energy to operate on this physical world. Many people, they have lived their lifetime, they have not done libation in a single day. 30, 40 years people, even 50 years people, they don't do this. They don't know how to do it. They have been cut off from their spirituality. That is why they're having so many problems. So you that are on this path, you need to be doing it. It's very simple, it's very powerful, and it's very necessary, and it's going to help you a lot. This is how we connect and resurrect our spirits, okay? So this is what you need to be doing on a regular. Very, very important. So I hope that this message is clear. This is what I have for you today. Please, questions and comments are always welcome as usual. Like and share this video. Subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell close to the subscribe button. And please try to register for my class, my spiritual inner class. I teach African spirituality so that you get the main stuff of the matter and empower yourself for ultimate success. And I'll be seeing you in the next video. So take care and bye. Peace.